Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Feli.
Ty.
And I'm Manji. And make sure to follow us you can join the conversation on the Facebook at the Fineprint, Instagram, the Fineprint, and of course we're on all the streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. So listen to us there.
Thanks for tuning into the Fineprint, guys. How are you guys doing?
Awesome, great.
Good.
Feeling good.
Loving it.
Yeah. How about you, Manji?
I'm good.
Feeling good?
I'm calm.
Yeah.
I'm always calm. That's why I was drinking Red Bull. I'm like, I need some more energy. I need to be alive instead of like just calm all the time and just chill.
This thing has a lot of calm, chill energy, though, right?
You said what?
So this thing has a lot of calm, chill energy.
Yeah.
Very
calm,
much
chill day.
so. It is. It is a very calm day. I was trying to search for another word, but I couldn't find it. You and I were talking about like searching for words.
Right. Melancholy. Gloomy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's such a Sunday.
I agree.
It's a Sunday. Sundays are kind of relaxing anyway.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eating.
For sure.
Okay, Sunday dinner.
Relaxing and eating.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's gonna make something after this, so I can't wait to what we're gonna eat. I don't know, but
Some pancakes and eggs, girl, nothing special.
breakfast all day.
Okay,
Yes.
It's gonna be good. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be good.
Loving it. How's your week been? Been pretty good, eventful?
Yeah, my week is always eventful. Yoga teacher training. I've been learning a lot with that. Been doing that every single Wednesday, and then once a month for a whole weekend, entire weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I'm gonna touch on a little bit of like what I've learned in yoga a little later on.
Beautiful,
in our conversations. But yeah, no, I've been learning a lot. I will be doing my very first flow in class, which is great because there's a lot of people that talk about programs where they don't have the opportunity to really teach.
Yeah.
And they just focus on the spirituality, which is great and it is important. But I'm already a very deeply spiritual person. And so there's a lot of things out there that I can very much apply. But when you learn the knowledge, like the important part is to be able to disseminate it.
Yeah.
What good is the knowledge if you just keep it to yourself? Now, if that's the point, some people do take it, excuse me, I'm getting choked up on my words. Some people do take yoga teacher training, I'll say that 3 times fast, to deepen their practice. And they're just doing it for their own journey, which is great and that's awesome. But most people that I've encountered actually do it to want to become teachers, and then they find at the end of the course that they just don't have the confidence they feel to be able to teach, and so they're like, I'm gonna wait. But then when they don't do it right away, then what happens is they lose even more confidence, and then they wish that they had started right away.
Yeah.
And so by being able to teach literally every week to each other.
Yeah.
Our yoga teacher forces us to get out of that and to not be so self-conscious, which is crazy because we don't people that are attracted to yoga and do yoga are in general non-judgmental people for the most part, right? Like they're just gonna kind of go with the flow. And so we just all have this story built up in our heads oh, am I being judged if I say, right foot when I really meant left foot. And so I've gotten to a place now where I'm just yeah, right, your other left,
Yeah.
And I
Clear
just
it off.
laugh.
You gotta have some fun.
I just laugh at myself because you have to have fun with it, because if you're having fun with it, then they're going to have fun with it, and they're going to enjoy it, and then they're going to want to come back because they're, feeling good about themselves.
Yeah.
And the energy.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. It's all about the energy, especially when you go to yoga. I'm not literally listening to what foot and making sure I'm doing it right. It's all about how my body feels and how my mind feels and being relaxed and stuff. So I'm not being nitpicky.
They said the wrong assignment. We're not in this pose.
This is not
They
the
don't
pose.
even know what they're doing. Oh my God.
So you need some more yoga if you're that person.
Right? If you're that kind of person, Yeah.
You probably need to be doing a little bit more too, because when I'm in yoga, baby, I just be worried about, okay, just balance, boom,
Right.
just balance. I don't got nothing to say about anything else.
It's almost over. It's almost
Right,
over.
hold it, girl, you got it.
Right.
Be listening to nothing else.
Okay.
So I've been really diving deep, and I'm like a couple months in now, and it feels really good. It feels great, and it's
That's awesome.
been helping, like keeping me grounded and balanced, and just
So how long does it take for you to get your certification?
So it's a 6
I don't know
month.
anything about
So it's a 6 month certification process, and I'm not only doing 200-hour yoga, but I'm also adding a 100-hour orthopedic
Give me guru.
part to it. So I'll be able to bring this into clinical settings as well, and doing like myofascial releases, be able to do workshops, and so I'm really looking forward to it. I cannot wait.
Loving it.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
That's
so
exciting.
I'm learning a lot. And it's interesting because as a nurse, like we do learn anatomy, but not to the point where we have to learn it like in applying it to kinesthetics. You know, like in movement and what are you working on, what part, and all of that. So it's awesome. I'm learning anatomy in a totally different way right now.
Loving it. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Yeah.
What you been slaying on this week?
I've just been really just working, just staying positive, working on just continuing the progress that I've been doing, like with my meditations, and waking up every single morning doing my meditations, making sure that I get sleep and rest, like we talked about in the last podcast, and staying out of trouble. My life right now has been really quiet. You know,
Quiet is so good.
Quiet is good. Quiet is so good.
Yes.
I know y'all be talking about all the things that y'all have going. I'm like, I've been working, but it's been pretty quiet, and I know that it's the calm before the storm, because it's not going to stay quiet for long. So I'm just appreciating, the time that I have right now before things get busier.
I love when you can appreciate the ebb and flow of life,
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta sit back and relax. Other times you just gotta be making the moves, baby.
Yes. I'm ready to make the moves, but I'm waiting patiently for that.
Okay, well, then we can switch, because all I've been doing is moving. So I'm ready to sit down now, so we cool.
We were like,
So I'm loving it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Slay for y'all weeks.
how about your week?
Busy,
Yeah.
girl. It's always busy. It's always the same thing. Just cooking, slaying, in that order. So it's been really nice. Been really nice. Just working with some really cool like chefs out there. I'll talk about it in the next episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be really cool. We got some really
Because
cool
I know you're
things
doing a
working.
competition right now. We're currently in first place, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's a regular competition. Though. That's for the Greatest Baker 2020. So if you guys want to go on there and vote for Ty Davis as the Greatest Baker for 2020, please do that. Appreciate your votes. But this is actually even bigger than that. So
Okay,
just
perfect.
say it's with a really cool celebrity chef, and
Nice.
it's kind of a big deal. So it's really cool.
Okay.
But I'm just
I can wait patiently for that.
that just keep my sanity, boo boo.
Though I'm gonna find out before. Duh.
And just keeping my sanity. Like everyone says, like we talked about sleep last episodes. I've been getting tons of sleep, which is amazing. And just to my daily routine, doing lots of meditation and just working on self-care things. And like Manjura said, just keeping the journey going, boo. Just keeping it moving. So it's been
You
nice.
guys in this meditation, phew, I am working on that. I just got this app called Inner Balance, and actually, one of the doctors that I work with at the medical office that I work at told me about it, and so I bought a sensor that goes along with the app, and it measures your heart rate and your breathing, and it's called Cardiac Coherence. And so this really kind of helps you jumpstart into meditation, because what is it they call it? They call it the monkey brain in meditation, in the meditation world, where it's hard for me to quiet.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere, just thoughts.
I always think. So I'm inspired by you guys in this whole meditation situation.
Yeah.
So
It's weird though. When you talk about meditation, it's just
hard
not
for me.
one thing. When I talk about it, I have so many different forms of meditation. It's crazy. So I think just having a really nice balance with the types of meditation that really resonates with you is actually probably more along the path you should go, because there are so many types of meditation. You know, like my sister's the same way that you are. She can't just sit down and like just quiet her mind, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of meditation for her is like journaling a lot of the time, or honestly just sitting and just like stillness and just nature is one of my biggest things, you know, just being there and observing the sounds, the wind, feeling things, like keeps you very, very grounded. That was a good one for me, just taking a walk in nature and just listening to everything and like getting out of your mind.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, like where I can't like really quiet my mind, so I usually always do like sound meditations where there's like music that I can like pay attention focus on. So that gives me something to focus on, because if I'm just sitting there trying to meditate, it's usually not going to work because I'm going to be thinking about everything. So
of course,
I gotcha. Yeah, but nature is a big one for me.
Yeah.
I was told that I need to go by some kind of body of water that has more of a natural shore. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay. And I find myself gravitating towards that naturally anyway. So that is one thing that I do. But as it's getting colder, my body doesn't. I don't like the cold.
Me either. That's what
I'm trying to find alternatives now to try to kind of help me through the winter, because I know like I love to be outside and be in nature, and that really grounds me. But
not with snow.
So I'm working on it. Not with snow. Well, maybe a little snow fun, but very limited.
Some plants and some heat lamps, baby, and put on some beach music and call it a day. You live home. Just getting it.
So
I'd definitely be down for it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it's just weird. This week's for Give Me Bodhi. Like we always talk about really cool mantras.
Yeah.
And I guess, I don't know, going along with the theme of just being just really unbothered and just being as zen as possible, you know? Our mantra for this week is, I am the sky and everything else is just the weather. So what this deals with is pretty much, you know, like knowing that all the extraneous things going on around us, they don't really affect us. All that is just weather, boo-boo, because we're all encompassing. We're the sky, so we don't let that bother us. So that's the mantra we're actually going to meditate for this week right now. So anytime you ever feel very angsty, or you feel anxious about something, or you just don't feel very grounded, you know, just tell yourself, you know, I'm the sky, everything else is just weather. Right? So that's what we're going to meditate doing. As always, we're going to do 4 counts of 4 breaths in, 4 breaths out. Right? We're going to start on 1. We're going to breathe in, and then we're going to breathe out. All right?
Okay, let's do this.
Loving it. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you're exhaling, let go of all of your weekly woes. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more big deep breath. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome.
Great.
We got to breathe out all the weather, y'all.
Okay.
We are good.
I am the sky and everything else is just weather. Okay. Almost kind of reminds me of a little saying of like being the eye of the storm. Like everything else is chaotic, but the eye of the storm is peaceful.
Yeah, like
serene.
The eye's always serene. Ain't nothing be going on in the eye. Y'all see the
There's
hurricane pictures. Chilling.
Yeah, right?
Love it.
And I always feel like I have to close my eyes for some reason. I don't know why. I just...
I always have to close my eyes.
Yeah. I just, because I want to bring it to myself. I want to focus on my breath. And I really want to focus on where my breath is going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and where it's coming from too. So I'm really like, as I'm breathing in, I'm thinking about it starting from my belly. That's going up, and then to my ribs, and then to like my chest, really like collarbone, and then it's really called, I want to say it's, ooh, my yoga teacher is gonna kill me.
Look, I think yoga teacher, you're watching right now. You're watching yoga teacher. You better get it, family.
Ujjayi breath, I want to say, or Durga breath. She's gonna be like, there you go, good girl. Thorough breath. So it's like a 3-part breath, but you're not breathing in every time. It's just like you're being mindful as you're breathing in, and you're going from the belly to the ribs to the collarbone, and then you breathe it all out.
So when you think about doing things like that too, that's one of the things that you should start focusing on when you do your meditations, because that thought process, right, what you're doing right now is really being in tune with your body, and because you're focusing on how your air is coming in and going out, that will actually make you focus on just that instead of all those other thoughts. So next time you do your meditation,
so that's more like a mindful meditation.
Yes. And that gets
maybe
you
that will be more for me.
More into the present state.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can be more mindful. I think that would be great for you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Of course, boo-boo. What you got for us today, Margie? What we talking about?
Ooh, girl, we just had an election. That election seemed like it was like 2 months long. But thankfully, we will have a new president. President-elect Joe Biden. Yay!
I know, right?
I feel like after that election happened, I just feel a lot lighter. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like it was just like, okay, I can actually like breathe now.
I think everyone did.
I literally jumped for joy and was screaming because I was on the phone with my friend Elise. Hey, Elise. And she was like, I think Biden just won. I was like, shut up. And I looked it up and I was just like, what? Yeah. We were just both like screaming on the phone. I can hear her screaming. I was like, had the phone away from me and I was just like, yeah. And my dog was just like, what happened?
And he's celebrating.
What
he's
are
like,
you
okay,
doing? You're all of a sudden having this emotional outburst. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I think a lot of people were happy. Like, what was I? Like, I think I've been paying attention to it, like, since, like, the Tuesday night, like, or Tuesday, yeah. So every single morning I woke up, I would, like, check my phone, like, I would,
where the vote's at now.
Yeah.
Where's
like,
the count?
Okay, is it called yet? Please, just hurry up, please.
I know.
But, like, as the days went on, it seemed like it was leading towards that direction. It was like each day, it was like a little bit more.
Closer,
I was just like,
closer.
I was like, oh my God. Like, I didn't want to get too excited because, you know, it was like.
That's what I did 4 years ago.
Exactly. No, I still remember where I was 4 years ago. Right. Well, it was like a huge difference of where it was 4 years ago. Because I remember watching the election and then like just I could see where things were going, and I didn't even finish watching. I went to bed.
You had to tap out.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. I don't want to see any more of this. So, and I woke up hopefully thinking that it would be a different result, but knowing that I was just like, oh my God, like it was so depressing.
Yeah.
But this was.
It was horrible.
Yes.
I woke up thinking, there's no way this nigga won. I said, anything is possible.
Anything
is clearly possible because this
Exactly.
should not have been. No, y'all played.
Okay.
Yeah, last election y'all played.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Lord Jesus.
yeah. A lot of people play. I think a lot of people last time were just like, oh, Hillary's going to win, so we don't have to.
There's
like,
no way.
I don't want to be in it anyway. Like, these are two horrible choices, so I'm not going to like vote. Like, she's going to win anyway. And I think a lot of people didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this time around, people were like, no.
Oh,
We
shit.
are.
Yeah.
We are on it.
And like, we're not gonna let this happen again. Like, I'm making sure I vote. Like, people actually came together. Like, last time, I think there was a lot of fraction. Like, a lot of like, you know, people weren't as together last time because like a lot of people wanted Bernie to win.
Yeah.
And then they was like, oh, I'm not voting for Hillary. Like, I mean, but this time the Democratic Party was like, no, we don't care who is the person that's coming. We need to make sure that he gets out.
I think that's what also.
And that was more so. It was more so like get Trump the hell out of there. I mean, and I don't know much about Biden and his policies, but I mean, honestly, both candidates were not really the best. So I was like, you know what, lesser of the two evils. So I was like going for Biden. And of course, our beautiful Kamala Harris as our vice president, which I am so super amped and excited about. But you were going to say something, Tyler?
I was going to say, I just want a president that actually just speak in front of people without offending everyone.
Yeah, right?
That's all I want.
You know,
and that cares about our world.
Yeah.
So, what is it, the Paris conference that, like, Trump...
He was like, nah, we're good.
No, we're not doing that. And it's like, idiot. You know, like, this is freaking world health. Like, we need to care about
our planet.
Well, we clearly didn't care about that when he got rid of the EPA and all the other.
Oh my God.
Come on.
So anyway, but yeah, I'm so looking forward to see what the next 4 years are going to bring us. I mean, obviously he can't fix everything, but at least we'll start off on a better foot.
Yeah.
At least the rest of the world is looking at us with a little bit of respect now because,
Oof, our PR just went up as a result, and we're not looked at like idiots.
Yeah, like with side eye, like the whole world's like, what is happening over there?
Over there, yeah. Like, America, please get it together. Like, we're still going through COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I just have a lot more hope for the next, 4 years, going forward, that it's going to, like you said, he's not going to solve everything, but it's leaning in the right direction, and especially with somebody with actual character and leadership, you know what I'm saying? And, that's going
experience?
Exactly,
Let's not forget that.
And that actually cares about bringing the country together. You know what I'm saying? And not only and not like leading for like I wouldn't say a smaller group, but like it wasn't. I didn't feel like Trump was a person that cared about everybody in this country or cared about what everybody's concerns, and we can see that with his policies or whatever. But I feel like Biden is going in the right direction. For me, I know there's other people. There was over 70 million people that voted for Trump, so that's still a heavily divided country. So
absolutely.
Definitely, yeah.
That was, and I think, like I was saying earlier, like a lot of more Democrats came out, but there's still like that was more than like President Barack Obama got when he was voted in. He got more votes than him,
and it was still close.
Yeah, it was still close.
And just and that's the thing. It's Biden did win. But I think that's a great point that you just brought up. For it to be so close, it's just like we still got a lot more work to do. Because we're very much divided in this country. Yeah. Very much so.
And I don't want like I'm like a progressive Democrat. Like I love progressive policies and I want everybody to, be taken care of, because I think like, if the most vulnerable people in our country are taken care of, then everybody's going to be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like there was some Democrats that was like, okay, well, we can forget about the Republicans now. Let's push our agenda going forward. And we've seen how the Republicans have been acting, without, reaching across the aisle to get Democrats on with their policies. Mm-hmm. Now we can do the same thing. We can just, they were saying like they wanted, to go even more left, even more progressive, but I'm weary of that, because I feel like that's gonna lead to more division in the country, and people are gonna be like, okay, well, again, my voice isn't heard, like Republicans, and it's gonna lead to possibly another Trump, like, down the road, since those are still the people that are, Republican and, definitely on Trump's side. Like if they aren't reached out to, then it could be another,
So it'll be a never-ending cycle, really, is what you're saying. Like, you're just like, I'm weary of this, because if we keep down this path of, like, tit for tat, like, well, you guys are doing that. So you're saying, like, really, it's going to be up to Democrats to take the higher road.
Exactly. As usual.
But I mean, that's a valid point.
Because I read this article, somebody posted it on Facebook. It was saying like, I think like Trump his downfall was that he wasn't in politics before. He wasn't like, he didn't know how to kind of like navigate politics and like get people on his side, mm-hmm. and get people to like go with him. But they were saying like, if we keep down the road that we're going, the next person that's going to come that's going to take over like his base is going to be much more smarter, and knowing how to like get people in politics and get people to get on his side or whatever.
Much more intelligent, much more ruthless.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not going to be somebody and a better character. So it's going to be like, okay, we can go with this person. I'm always like worried of making sure that we are reaching across, like, not, I want everybody's voice to be heard.
Yes.
And everybody to be taken care of. And I think people need to come together now. I don't know how that's possible or what that looks like.
Yeah.
But I think just the reaching out to the other side and making sure that, you know, Democrats are saying, okay, we understand that you have different views, but how can we come together to make sure that our country is working and working in the right way?
Make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the way that the country was supposed to be set up, but a lot of people forget about, you know, the aim of, you know, why we have these different parties and why the Senate and the House of Representatives are set up the way that it is, so we can have kind of like a balance of power.
Yes.
And come together and have arguments, but eventually come together to, you know, write laws that work for everybody, and not just one
all
group of people.
interests,
Yes.
and not just cater to one group's interests, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know a lot of people are not gonna like that. a lot of people probably won't like that, but I feel like, I don't know, we need to think about that more, so we're not just creating two different countries.
Yeah.
That's what
it feels like.
That's what it feels like right
That's
now.
what it
And
feels like.
unfortunately, I mean, Trump's rhetoric did lead to that. And, you know, we're back to our regularly scheduled racism.
Right.
Now, at least it won't be so out there. You won't feel so like, oh my God, if I just like walk out on the street, is something going to happen. You still maybe kind of feel like that, but not as like present.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Anyway.
Blatant. Just like
Blatant.
Yeah. Hopefully things will get better. And like you said, I'm really excited about Kamala Harris being the vice president. That's another amazing thing. I think we didn't.
Huge.
Yeah.
Like I saw this like video clip and it was just like all the VPs and it's like all these old white guys that go boom 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 like throughout history and it's like boom Kamala Harris. It's like this amazingly beautiful black woman. Well, she's like black and Indian, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Jamaican?
Jamaican, yes.
Yeah.
Jamaican and Indian.
Oh, Jamaican and Indian. I'm sorry. And so it's just like, wow, how far we have come.
Right. And I was like,
Old white guy, old white guy, old white guy, black woman.
right.
It's just like, where'd she come from?
One of these things is not
I
like the
love
other.
it. One
Right.
of these things is not like the other. But yeah, it's amazing. I'm excited. And I know she's got to feel the pressure and the weight on her shoulders now because she is going to be such a symbol and so many people are going to now look up to her in the black community and be like, damn, you know, this is what we can strive for. Like anything is possible.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we had that with Obama, but like for a black woman, I feel like just women in general, like it's just harder for us to get leadership positions versus our male counterparts.
Yes.
So, and then on top of that, to be a black woman is just even harder. So, yeah.
And I'm excited because, like, I've been, I think we've been paying attention to her ever since she was running for president, but I think, like, she's so smart. I think she's prepared for it, definitely.
Yeah, she's definitely.
Yeah, like, she's been, like, in her career, I think she's so smart in the way that she talks about things are just very smart and intelligent. And I can see that she's also one of the people that is like Biden that wants to, you know, to see different sides of, you know, the aisle and not just one side. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, same.
But also what I'm excited about, we talked about it briefly, is the fact that some states that weren't that were just Republican before are now
Blue, yeah.
now blue, like Arizona and Georgia.
Yes.
And it's important also, like we mentioned, like Stacy Abrams, just like another amazing black woman.
Yes.
We have to give her praise because like she worked very hard after she lost the governor's race in Georgia. Like I think I read that her story was like she let herself be sad about it, and then like she said the next day she got to work.
She got to work. Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
And
she definitely, because of her, voters, she had a lot more to do with like the registration and the laws, right? With voters.
She registered. She got 800,000 new registered voters
Registered
in
voters.
Georgia.
100,000.
That in and of itself is like, wow.
Yes.
She is one amazing, powerful woman.
Yes, I love it. I look up to her. I was like, how can it be like her?
Goals.
Exactly. But yeah, and just like, and to think about like in some of those cities that turned the states blue for Biden that Hillary lost last time were like Philadelphia, Michigan, Georgia, and those were like a lot of black populated cities like Detroit and Philadelphia and Atlanta. It's like, thank you, black people, for coming out and voting and making sure that your voice is heard. So that's also amazing.
Yeah, because it's a conversation that I hear often that people think that their vote does not matter, and this election definitely showed that every vote mattered.
Exactly.
Like it's just so it's like we have to continue to participate in the politics for as crooked, and I mean every politician has their thing, whether they're Democrat or Republican, like they've got backs that they've got to scratch too. But that aside, like still participating in the voting process and the elections, and even when it's like local elections, like we have like different propositions and things that amendments that they're trying to make that actually really directly affect you and your neighborhood and how taxes are allocated and all of that. Go out and vote, still vote, participate. This has definitely shown us as a nation that your votes matter. Like, look at how the hell Trump got in.
Right.
Look at how the hell he's getting out.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
He didn't vote, he got in. You voted, he's getting evicted.
Exactly.
Cause and effect. Get out there.
Right?
Yeah. I'm always just, I don't know.
It's not so black and white, but you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah. And even if you don't feel as though your voice is going to be heard, like I would just feel guilty when I don't vote from all the people that,
Around you that vote and are...
No, for the people that actually were out there, like, advocating for African Americans or for women to actually vote and whatnot. It's just like, there's some people that put their lives on the line, the front line and whatnot, and had to struggle.
Yeah.
Really get out there and protest.
Yeah.
So it's just like, if I didn't vote, then I would just literally just be me just like spitting on it and being like, no, it was all in vain.
Right.
So I always take that into consideration. Like you're saying, like even when it comes to local elections and stuff, always vote because there's a hierarchy.
Yeah, it's kind of like honoring your ancestors, right? Because they were the ones that were before you that, I mean, they don't have to be in direct, your bloodline, but they came before you and they fought for you
so that
to be able to have the privilege to be able to vote or, have the rights that you have now.
Yeah.
And so,
Don't take it for granted.
Don't take it for granted. Awesome.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the future.
Definitely excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
I told you about the lady in my building where she found out about it, and I came home from my dinner, and she had the entire wing of our like apartment building blocked off. Having her a great time, baby. She had a little party. She had a little block party and a little thing after he got elected. I was just like, people were super happy. There's people shouting out the windows and screaming.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna be happy.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. I definitely bought some champagne.
Everyone bought
champagne.
I bought some rosé.
Yeah, bubbly rosé, some sparkling rosé. I had some.
That was everybody.
I was celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
Facebook timeline. How are you celebrating?
Right.
Pop bottles.
Pop bottles, man. Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, I know I'm relieved about their election, but I know you have some other ways that you got some relief recently.
Yeah. So everyone's heard of acupuncture,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did acupuncture.
right?
Yes.
And so I did acupuncture recently. I want to say it was a few weeks ago with my very first time. And actually, before I even touch on that, I did an energy healing session, which is also known as Reiki. And after that energy healing session, the lady sat me down. Well, she was like talking to me about like what she found, what chakras were blocked and things like that. And she found that my heart chakra, there was a lot of grief there. And I was like, well, I mean, I just got out of a relationship, maybe I just broke up with someone. And she was like, no. She was like, this is some deep grief. And I was like, well, I lost my mom when I was 5. She goes, there it is. And I was like, oh, I thought I dealt with all of that. She goes, she gave me some tips and things. And so I was like, Fast forward about a week later, I did an acupuncture session, just like on a whim. Like we were just like having girls' day, spa day, and the lady added some electrical impulses to it. And so that's actually called Electro Acupuncture. So in traditional Chinese medicine, they don't do this. All they do is manipulate the needles to kind of remind your body, like, hey, you got to do something. But I could only tolerate it for like maybe 5-10 minutes tops. And so it was like really intense for my body. So I said, get it off of me.
Yeah, because they're putting on all those meridians that connect.
Yeah, and she did it on 2, but yeah, like the energy flows, right?
Yeah.
And so afterwards, and I think this was because really I did a massage for like 80 minutes and then I had acupuncture for 60 minutes.
Living your best self-care life, baby.
And my eyes were so blurry and I was like, is this normal? I was like, everything is blurry. I was like looking around and she was just like, go ahead. I think I was scaring the little Asian lady. She was so sweet and she was just like, just sit down. And I was just like, okay. And so eventually that passed, but by the time I got out to this huge atrium lobby beautifuln's whatever, I had the hugest emotional release.
Yeah.
I sobbed, I boo-hoo-hoo cried, I sobbed like I just found out my mother passed away. And I didn't feel sad inside, but when I tell you that really, I was wailing. I was beside myself. And then my friend was there and she was like, it's okay, shh. And I was like, no, I am letting this out. Mm-hmm. I was like, obviously it has been bottled up and I had no idea how much. And I was letting it go. And I had my mask on because COVID, right? And it was soaked through. I cried so much, it was soaked through. And at the end of it, I was like, and I was that was crazy. I was like, where did that just come from? And she goes, I don't know. And I was like, I don't know. And she was looking it up frantically, is this a normal reaction? And then, I had a couple drinks of water and we start walking back to the locker room, and on the way back I'm hysterically laughing. You guys, I felt like I was going crazy. I could not stop laughing. It was the kind of laughing if anybody's ever smoked marijuana ever or has done marijuana, not saying that I ever currently do, but I have in my past, long in my past. And you like the disclaimer?
Look, you don't even need it. She's already gonna start.
I know. I am a very giggly person. But I just could not stop laughing. And afterwards, and it's called Acu High, where you are light as a feather, no stress, just felt amazing, just absolutely amazing. And I was just like, wow. I've heard of acupuncture, and I never really gave it too much thought. And I've seen some documentaries where they'll apply it on some acupressure points on the ears for soldiers that have had, traumatic events and to help with PTSD and things like this. But I was just like, nah, I just never gave it too much thought. After that, I was like, oh, this is going to be in my self-care regimen. Yep. I was like, I'm doing this from here on out. And so, I just recently had another acupuncture session. I don't do the electro acupuncture right now. The lady that I'm seeing right now, she advised against it. And she was like, you're so little, you don't need that much. She was like, you just need a little boost of energy. And I was like, we'll just visit this at a later date.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm going to go with your professional opinion because you've been doing this. But I'm kind of, I wonder what it's going to be like to do the electro acupuncture again for a second time. If I'm going to have the same reaction or not. But this is not a very normal reaction.
Yeah.
Like, even still, like, because I tell her that I have a very stressful life and I do a lot of things. And so, you know, she puts these needles in certain meridian points that help relieve the stress. But like, and she said that I react the same way that her daughter does. I laugh. Like, when she puts it on the points where it's like it helps like relieve the stress, I start laughing. Like, uncontrollably laughing. And I was like, oh, here we go again. But then I was like, oh, okay. There was actually one section where she put the needle in, and this is to like relieve my stress. My body was like, no, bitch. Bing! And like popped it right out. And I was like, hey! It's not where it's supposed to be anymore. And she came back, she goes, oh my gosh. She's like, okay, I guess it's got to go a little deeper. And I was like, all right, yep, that works. And she goes actually right there is where she goes. And so it was actually really funny. But I needed to look up like acupuncture and where are they putting it exactly? Because it's like, yeah, meridian points, but it's like, what the hell is meridian points?
And there's hundreds of them, and there's certain quadrants you can use. There's different like crazy stuff. Sometimes they put them on things to relieve tension for like organs or like
and
gut
they put them in
health.
places where you would never think it would be associated with, like, for example, like I think this acupressure point, like between your thumb and your index finger, is and there's a lot of points within there, to my understanding, but she was using that to help relieve some neck pain.
Yeah. They do the same thing for migraines.
And they do the same thing for migraines. So because that's where, I mean, I believe it starts like in the back here and it's kind of works its way. But recently I saw this study that was done, and this kind of goes back to what I was talking about I learned in yoga. Is a lot of the meridian points that they use for acupuncture in traditional Chinese medicine, they find those in the fascia. And it's the fascia system. And I was like, oh, and fascia, if you guys don't know, is the connective tissue for muscles. And so I was like, because acupuncture has been around for a very long time. So I was like, how did they know the flow of energy?
They do it based on chi principles.
I do know that. Yeah. And so, but I'm just saying, like, how did they know that flow of energy and for it to correlate so well with our fascia system? I'm just like, my mind is blown, because it's like, it's not like they had, CT scans or anything like that to be able to know, like, what the fascia system looked like. So for that to, like, line up, and that's just, like, even more evidence that, a Western evidence rather of Eastern medicine. Is what I was trying to say. And I think that's just beautiful. I was just like, wow. When I learned that, because I didn't know like where they were placing it, because that was the thing that I could not understand. I knew they were just tapping it in just enough, but I was like, but where is just enough? Like, yeah, it's under the skin, but where exactly? And so to learn that they're putting it into the fascia, into nerve-rich fibers, I'm just like, okay, this makes sense to me. Now I understand, and by putting it in, and this needle, like some people, you can feel the prick. It's just a little bit, it's not much, or it's, some people don't feel it much at all. But once it goes in, what it's doing is causing a little micro injury to the area to send a signal to your body to say, hey, you got to work on this, bringing attention to it. And so whatever is associated and within that energy line, then is where it puts, where the body puts focus on to heal it. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. Now, I'm no acupuncturist, and I'm sure they could so much better tell it so much more eloquently than I could. But that was my experience, and I went around like work telling people, and I even convinced people to do some acupuncture, whereas they would not have tried it before me even mentioning it. And so I was like, look at that. I was just amazed that, I just wanted to share that experience with you guys. So I really want you guys to try acupuncture, because I know you said you haven't.
No, I've never done it.
And then Tyler, have you tried acupuncture?
A little bit, but it's weird. I have a weird aversion towards needles. So
yeah, if you have an aversion to needles,
so that's why I was like,
maybe this might not be your thing.
I want to do it. I'm sold.
I'd love for you to try it.
I don't really think, I'm not weird about needles for some reason. I'm actually like, whenever I would go get like my blood drawn or whatever, I was always like, I want to look. I want to see it.
Oh, I'm the same way.
I'm the type of person. Like, I want to see it.
So I think this would work.
I want to see it, but I want to make sure you're not messing up enough.
Yeah.
But I think like, especially like, because...
I mean, like, where you sticking that? What you doing?
What is your technique?
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like for things like, because I feel like especially with energy and not knowing if something's like, stuck or like, blocked or whatever, maybe I need a Reiki section. I think that's, because I think that's how
everyone should do Reiki.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think I'm definitely going to do acupuncture.
I have to say the Reiki for me, I didn't feel much different. I didn't feel much different at all.
Yeah.
But it was the acupuncture that really did it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it really just like removed some of those blocks. And now I'm just like, I love everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, it's awesome. So yeah. Yes.
And that's why I think it's really important too for people to try things. Like, don't be afraid to try new things, because you never know what's going to work for you. Or what's not going to work, Absolutely. Yes.
For your body. Exactly.
That's super cool. And then where did you go to get your acupuncture done? Were you in Vegas?
So the first time I was in Vegas, and it was at this like really nice spa. I don't remember the name of the spa, but now I've been doing follow-up sessions at a place. Well, I guess I can't really say. I don't know if I want to say or not, but it's called the the Center for Mind and Body.
Gotcha.
So,
Dope.
yeah, great acupuncturist there. She's amazing, and yeah, if you guys are looking into doing acupuncture, but that's, for those that are listening that are outside of St. Louis area, that's located in St. Louis. So, yeah, if you can look up someone that does traditional Chinese medicine and does acupuncture, yeah.
I just think it's amazing.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Like she was saying, they didn't even know how to put all of them, because some people would be looking like porcupines, baby. Look at all them needles.
Yeah. People do look like some porcupines. But what do you have for us for spiritual self-care?
Yeah, so spiritual self-care today is really about loving yourself, but truly like loving yourself. I know we have a lot of people, especially, I want to just talk about this because I've had lots of people during the pandemic that have gotten in and out of relationships. Probably a little more than they should have, because they are dealing with a thing called codependencies. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that a lot of people know how...
What it looks like?
Detrimental, yeah. That codependencies can just be to like just your own like mental health and your emotional health, and then your own self-worth. That I just wanted to just talk about it, because I had lots of long conversations probably about a week and a half ago with multiple individuals, and they were all going through the same thing, and it was pretty much based on codependencies. And it was about really just trying to find their self-worth in another individual, because they were lacking in some area or didn't know how to actually find out what was wrong and why the relationship didn't work out. But it was always the same scenarios where they would get into a relationship with someone, things will be really, really good for probably like 1 or 2 months, and then things would start to either go stagnant or just kind of start to deteriorate slowly. Mm-hmm. And they were always just wondering like what was going on, and always kind of like blaming themselves, like, well, it wasn't me, or honestly blaming the other person, without really opening their eyes to see kind of what was going on.
How they contributed to that
Absolutely.
Dynamic.
And I think a lot of people don't see, because a lot of people don't even know how to start off being in a relationship, because they don't have a good relationship with themselves first. And I think that's what it comes down to. I think that anybody, which is also why I'm not in a relationship right now, is because I'm still working on aspects of myself that I know I could be a lot better, you know? Yeah. And I don't want to bring those toxic traits into a relationship with another individual because that wouldn't be fair to them.
I gotcha.
And I get a lot of people that, you always get that whole little thing, oh, relationships aren't easy. They'll never be easy. Relationships about work. You got to put in work. There's a difference between good work and bad work.
True.
And there are some relationships.
I mean, there's work and then there's effort.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And then also, what are you working
right?
towards?
Like, you got to put in work, baby. I don't know. Maybe something's going wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, like, yeah, you can definitely work with each other on different things. Of course, you're going to fight. But if you don't have a really good sense of self, then you can't really fully give yourself or really even fully help another individual or be in a relationship with another individual, because then you're going to be looking outside of yourself for these types of validations. And that's what codependency is. Codependency is you dealing with a few internal things that you may not necessarily recognize, so that you have to get it from either a friend or a significant other or maybe like a parent, you know? Like codependencies, they have all different shapes and forms, you know? But it's when we start to recognize these things that we start to really get down into like the true nature of them. How they manifest, why they manifest, what triggers them, where they came from, you know? So that's why I really want people to take this week to just journal. Journal about anything in your life that you may feel is lacking, or any areas in your life that you think could be better or do better, or things about yourself that you want to see like done or acted upon, you know, where it comes to like your physical health, where it comes to like maybe if you're really, really a depressed person in your relationship and you always have to find your happiness through another individual, like find out why it is that you're really depressed and why it is that you have to go out to this other person in order to make you feel happy. Because happiness should come from within inside. And I think that a lot of people are out there searching for these things in other people when they really should be searching for it in themselves. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things I probably learned through probably a lot of my relationships. I've had some really, really amazing relationships, but I've had also some very toxic codependent relationships, you know? Yeah. So me journaling and reflecting about these things and really finding out why I let these individuals take that energy from me, or why I was willingly able to give them that energy, you know, really helps me to, one, learn who I am, and then also just to learn what relationships are, and just helps me really form a really nice bond with myself, because relationships always start with you. And if you're in a really unbalanced place, or you are in a spot where you may not even know how to process your emotions, don't get in a relationship, please. Like, please don't, because you're not doing anything to help yourself. And then what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using the individual as an emotional crutch for you to kind of be able to cope with the things that you honestly need to be working on by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's very hard for people to recognize too sometimes, because they're just thinking in their head, like society puts this importance of, well, you need to be in a relationship, and to be in that relationship means that you have like achieved something, some kind of society's whatever they attach to it. And some people, like, they just don't do alone very well.
Yeah.
And so it's being able to take inventory. If you're a type of person that knows how to take inventory of yourself, then I think, yes, then they can follow those tips. But if they don't, then that's how they're like landing in these relationships or finding themselves in these situations, because it's so easy to escape. Because, and this is something that I think we talked about in yoga class, to do that work, it's not fun.
It's not fun. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it's, you know, like you have to deal with your dark side.
Yep.
As to why you do certain things. And it's the yucky part. And nobody wants to feel like that, you know? Like, and it might make you a little more sad or feel bad about yourself. But really, these are all things used to help you grow. Like,
absolutely.
You know, plants need light.
Yeah.
Plants need light as well as darkness.
Yep.
in order to grow. And so it's like we have to remember that, you know, we can't always be in the light. We're going to have to do some of that dirty work in the dark, you know, like, and deal with that dark side.
But that's where compassion comes in, and that's why compassion is so important.
Yeah.
Because when we are going through all these different processes and really finding out about ourselves, things that we like about ourselves, things that we don't like about ourselves, it's that compassion that honestly gets us through it. Because we all make mistakes. You know, no one is perfect. I know society wants you to think that you need to have this picture perfect life, but no one has a picture perfect effing life. You know, like nobody. Everyone has their own problems and things to deal with. But at the end of the day, what you need to really manifest and be very comfortable with is being alone. Because at the end of the day, you know, like if your significant other dies or like your parents or something die, blah, 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 like you're only going to have really yourself. So if you're sitting around, you're the type of individual that isn't comfortable being alone, probably think about why that is too.
Why?
You know, why do you always have to be constantly surrounded by somebody? Why do you always have to constantly be in a relationship?
Yep.
You know, why can't you just be complacent, just being you sometimes? I think that's very important. I think that because we've lost our sense of self, that
comfortable. I wouldn't say complacent, but comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable. I said, but I think a lot of people just become complacent and they get very comfortable. And then a lot of that complacency too even can be emotional complacency where you stop feeling stuff sometimes, or you just get used to a certain emotion and think that that's normal. You know? So you always worrying, or you always wanting, or you always needing something, or you always getting validation to another person, or doing things like that. Like, if it happens continuously, you just have to be like, that's the new norm.
This is me.
Yeah, this is me.
And you know what?
This is me.
And it goes to like even a neurological level, because, you know, I'm a nurse and I just bring science into it always. You are strengthening those neural pathways.
Mm-hmm.
So the more you do something and you get a positive reward, quote unquote, from it, then the more often you're going to do it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to build new neural pathways and ways of doing things, but that reward is so worth it in the end, in the long run. And so, like you said, like being comfortable with being alone. That doesn't mean you're lonely because you're alone.
Yes.
It's just by yourself,
Just by yourself.
like without other people around. That's, I mean, the first time I found myself alone, I'm a little bit of a loner, so I kind of tend to stay away. But the first time I was by myself, and this was like when I left home going to college for the first time, I cried a little bit, and I was like, oh my God, I'm by myself. It's just me. And then not very long after, I was like, hey, it's just me. And I was like, wait, freedom!
Exactly.
You know? But I mean, my background and all of that is just a little bit different. You know, it's very strict upbringing. But that's to say, for some people, like when they've had like relationships with their parents, that they have great, strong, secure bonds with them, but so strong to where it's just like they don't let go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just so used to having someone there. And then that just keeps, you know, that just continues to happen. It's great to have healthy, strong, emotional bonds with your loved ones in your life, but you got to be okay being by yourself too, because that codependent behavior does creep in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think I'm almost on the opposite side where I'm like, I prefer to be alone. I'm trying to find some balance, like a middle ground, because I've been in those codependent relationships, and I've just like gone completely to the opposite, where I'm just like, I just want to be alone. And I'm super comfortable being by myself, but that's also like, you don't want to go too far to the other side too, where it's just like, I don't want to be around people. So it's like finding a balance of in between those two things.
Yeah, I definitely think it's about
I love
balance.
that we all have this in common, because we understand each other so well. We're just like, oh, you doing you.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be over here doing me too, you know? Like, yeah, it's awesome. I love that we all have that in common. So
Yes.
kind of thing.
Yeah. But I don't know, like I'm working on it too, and I would say, like you said, you're on like the other side, and I think I'm kind of on the other, like that side too, where I'm very comfortable like being by myself, because I think that throughout like my entire childhood, I've always kind of been like the only child, because all my sisters are older, single mom, didn't have like a dad, so I was kind of always been like by myself. So I think I am fairly comfortable with that per se, and I'm also comfortable with the fact that I'm not really going to go out there and just get into any type of relationship just because it's available to me and it's like there.
Right.
I'm really smart about people I want to spend time with, and the people that really like deserve my energy and are accepting of my energy as well, because sometimes you get around people that aren't accepting of your energy, or sometimes
that's true.
you know, and they just don't really even want to receive you. And a lot of people get in relationships like that too, where they don't even really see your authentic self. They just kind of want you there, aren't accepting of you as a person, but yet you're still in a relationship with them because
why? Comfort?
You don't like yourself.
Because
she don't love herself.
She don't love herself.
Yeah. And it's just like, why are you doing that to yourself?
It's almost kind of like, because
detrimental.
I've been in a lot of like codependent relationships, and I've been doing the work of kind of like looking at why those have been. And when I look back at it, it is like you were saying, like I was looking outside of myself, you know, for comfort, for love, for validation, like, you know, and I was just like,
for security.
Exactly, to feel secure.
Like, any of it comes in so many different shapes.
And the thing about that is, like, I never got it for real. Like, I was, you know, and that's probably why the relationships didn't work, is because, you know, I was looking for it and never got it, because I wasn't looking, you know, to get it for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only, like, I feel like now that I'm comfortable with myself and I trust myself enough to know, like, I'm gonna be good. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need somebody to tell me, you know, I'm good, or to help me. I can just tell myself that.
Because I know I am.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what my next relationship would be like. would finding like the balance in myself and not. Hopefully I built some more neural pathways.
Right.
Some new ones.
Right, to learn some new patterns.
Exactly. So I don't fall back into those old patterns.
Yes.
But I think the next one will be good. So we'll see whenever that happens.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I mean, it's great to work on yourself. I'm in a place now where I've done just so much work that I'm like ready to just like, I'm ready.
Right.
Yeah.
For relationship land, you know, what that looks like, and explore what, of course, now it's going to be virtual.
Right.
Because, I mean, they've increased restrictions, so, I mean, mask not needed when it's virtual. But, I mean, eventually, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to see what this next chapter brings for me as well. And just being able to do, like, knowing that I've done so much work and taking care of my emotional side, spiritual side. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Monty. I'm just kind of like, I wonder what this next one's gonna look like, because it's like I'm so grounded and I'm so centered, and it's like I'm in a place where I can give freely and not like have attachments to it, and it's just like, you know.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful when you have that freedom to just be out there.
Because like I'm not gonna lose myself.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna lose my sense of self.
Yep. But think about,
like, I'm still gonna be me at the end of the day. Don't want it? All right.
Absolutely.
We're moving, you know, like.
Right.
But think about how beautiful that is, though, that you have your sense of self. You're very comfortable with yourself. You've been working on things. Like, you know you're good mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And to find another partner that has also worked in themselves, that is great spiritually, mentally, emotionally.
Yes.
You get together, you're going to be a duo of bad bitches. Because both of you guys are both kind of on the same, like, playing fields when it comes to things, you know?
Yeah.
Where you both can literally build up bonds and really build a relationship.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to pick and pull what parts of it you like and what parts of it you don't, or what can I take from this person, you know, what can I take. That's not the way it should work. It should be a partnership.
Two whole people.
Yes.
And knowing that no person's going to give you everything.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
So unrealistic.
So it's like, You know,
it's like what you get from your romantic partner is great, but then like all these other people in your what I call tribe,
Mm-hmm.
you know, your friends give you something different, your
Very different, yes.
family gives you something different, and
Yep.
it's like you have to keep that to keep balance, because you can't have one person as your, you know,
everything.
No.
They can't be your best friend, your
Your
co-workers, you know, your co-workers, your mama. What was that song that
Ain't your
J-Lo? Oh,
I ain't cooking
I ain't
all
your mama.
day. Yes.
Anyway.
But yeah,
I
so
digress.
she said, I digress. I definitely ain't trying to be nobody mama.
No.
Maybe somebody daddy.
You got one of those.
Maybe somebody's daddy, but nobody mama. And
Still
daddy with a Z, not with a D. Okay. They ain't paying none of your bills. Ain't coming there trying to look for you. No, we can't be doing that. Baby.
Oh my God. I'm not trying to be nobody's parent. How about that?
Yeah. Unless it comes from my uterus, which I don't have. It ain't gonna work.
Right?
I love the belly snort. But yeah, but that's what I have. So just people just really look for, I don't know, just toxic traits in your relationship, and just know that if you aren't ready for a relationship, don't get into one. You know, definitely. You don't want to bring that person through any of the crap you're going through, boo-boo.
Right.
So
You can do bad all by yourself.
You can do bad or good all by yourself.
Yes,
so.
exactly.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah,
All
that's
right.
all I got.
That wraps us up then. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Fine Print Podcast with Ty, Felly, and Manji.